All right, well, it's 6:40. I'm going to go ahead and call this to order. Today is October 16th, time is 6:40 p.m. We are doing the monthly meeting via Zoom this month, virtual only. With that said, we'll call attendance. I believe we have already. Sorry, I was going to chat. I believe we already have quorum here, which we do. With that, we need to go ahead and move on to the adoption of agenda. Is there anyone who wants to adopt the agenda as written, or do we have any changes for the agenda for this month?
I move to adopt as written.
Marie makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Brian Fleming. All those, well, how about this? Because we're on Zoom. Is there anybody against this? Please say aye. Nobody speaks in against, so with that unanimous, we adopt the agenda. I want to go back a second here because I do believe this is the third meeting for Miss Donna Wilson. And I want to know if our secretary can verify Miss. Second here because I do believe.
Points of personal privilege, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Can we take a minute for me to figure out why on earth that I have 500 people repeating themselves?
Absolutely. We will pause for a minute and you tell me when you're ready. We are pausing for the secretary, guys. I can't imagine what that loop sounds like. We kind of heard a little bit of it just now. So let's give him a minute to try and figure out the technical difficulties.
He said it in the chat. Tried to yell, but he didn't.
Okay, let's test it now.
All right. How about now? Can you hear me good?
Okay, sorry about for the technical issues. Can you test one more time?
Testing. Can you hear us
Oh,
now?
now
Do
I
we
lost
still have a
speakers
loop?
entirely.
Oh no. I am unmuted, so. Go ahead. Here's some more speaking for another test.
Okay, Mr. Chair, can
All
I
right.
ask you to contest one more time? Yes,
sir. Let's test this. How's your audio going?
Okay, I think I figured out what the problem was, and it was existed between the keyboard and the chair.
Not this chair or your chair?
My chair. I had the Facebook Live video was on in my browser in a tab hidden underneath the screen share, and I couldn't see that that was what was playing the repeat.
Okay. I'm sorry you went through that. Are
Okay,
you good to go now?
Let me catch back up. So we had a motion to adopt the agenda. So we already did quorum and motion to adopt the agenda. Who moved and seconded that?
Marie moved the agenda. Brian Fleming seconded the agenda.
All righty. Now I am
Voted unanimous. Okay. Back to what I was saying. I wanted to pause for a second because we discussed quorum. However, it didn't occur to me. I believe we have a new voting member tonight. So I wanted to take the time and see if I can verify that, please, Mr. Secretary.
If you're referring to Ms. Donna Wilson, she has the required attendance. However, I don't have the voter ID or application on file to validate that.
I can
Ms.
share
Donna
a link
Wilson?
to the form. I'll share a link to the form, the membership form.
So I think this might be a good time to let people know that if you would be interested in joining the party as either an associate member or a voting member, we do have a membership form on our website as well.
That is wonderful.
Let me,
I might have
validate
filled
the
it out.
link.
I don't remember.
You filled out a volunteer form. I got that.
Okay.
so it should be under the,
I'll
Join.
check right now if we want to keep going.
yeah, it should be
Um,
under join, and then there's a download a membership form. Or we should probably make that pure online, actually, but in any case, we'll count it. I'm fine with counting it provisionally, and then we can validate it after the fact.
No
There
worries.
is-
All right, just to recap, Marie, I'm sorry for cutting you off here, but just to recap for Miss Donna, in order to be a voting member, you have to do the 3 months or the 3 meetings out of 6 or 6 out of 12 and be a registered libertarian. Right now, they just need the voting ID verification, and I believe that's it. Correct, Greg?
Correct. If we have the voter ID, and then we can pull up the remaining information.
And so how do you want me to send you my voter, or is that part of the application process?
That is part of the application, or you
Okay.
could just message it to me directly on Discord if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, no need to make that public. You can send it straight to them and we're good to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it is public record, but you don't have. to-
Yes. Right. Okay.
I just did not want to leave anybody out. I'm sorry for the confusion there, but I realized that when I was speaking that this was the 3rd time I've seen her name, so I wanted to make sure to get that
Yeah.
taken
I
care
do
of.
confirm that she's met the attendance requirement.
Perfect. Then with that said, I will move forward at this moment. All right, approval of the minutes. Approval of the minutes from last month. Is there anybody who's read the minutes that would like to make a motion on them?
I will move to approve the minutes.
I will second.
Moved by Mr. Peel, seconded by Mrs. Peel. If there's anyone against, please voice your opinion now. With lack of anything said, that passes unanimously. Minutes are approved. All right, moving on to the officer reports, chair report. So this month, actually, I kind of had some fun with the upcoming rallies. I had a long meeting, phone meeting with Grover, trying to make sure we can get a rally set up in Melbourne for him and a rally set up in Titusville for me. And we have our 2 presidential candidates coming into town, which, by the way, if anybody else wants to file for run for office, this would be a wonderful time to announce it. We have a North Brevard rally with Chase Oliver and myself on next Sunday. We have a South Brevard rally with Mike Termat for president and Grover Bentley for State House next Friday at 6:30 p.m. or 6 p.m. We have flyers there. Everything is posted on the website, I believe, already. And that I think we've all been working on that the last month, but that has been the precipice of what I've done is just focus on getting the rally set up so that we can be there and we can get the paperwork out, the flyers, and we can get the parks in line. We dealt with some of that today, so I'm happy it all worked, and it looks like everything is going good right now. I'm excited for the 2 rallies. At this point, it's just getting people to the rallies. Try and have a showing and have some people show up for not only our Brevard candidates, but the presidential ones too. All right, Mr. Ty is here. Thank you, Mr. Ty, for joining us. I appreciate it, Brian. So that is what I've been up to, is trying to get that handled, which I did, and I believe we are good to go, and nothing, I have nothing else to report beyond that. So moving on, Mr. Ty, if you're here, do you have a vice chair report for us?
The only thing I have to report, well, I guess it would be under either events or vice chair, is just trying to set something up for Friday for Mike Termont. We discussed it, you and I discussed it over the phone about maybe an event afterwards. And we'll have to kind of flesh some stuff out, see what he wants to do. I've got to contact with him. So you have to give me his number. But other than that, I really don't have anything else to report.
To touch on that for you, Ty, for your information, I did hear back from Mike. He did verify for the event, so he has the flyer. However, I didn't catch it at the time when he responded, but he never answered the question about whether he had time afterwards
Yeah,
for an event. So I'll email him when we're done tonight and
Mhm.
try and get a follow-up just to see if he has time for our delegates afterwards.
yeah, okay,
Or anyone who wants to join him from the rally.
yeah. All right.
All right, thank you. Moving on, Mr. Secretary, the floor is yours. We can't hear you, sir.
Yes, sir. I guess we get to see my face briefly before we pop back to the slideshow. So
Oh,
my
okay.
secretary's report is I learned what needed to be done to do a pure virtual meeting. As you can tell, it's still a learning experience in process, but I've already learned a lot to make it go more smoothly next time. We did experiment with live streaming to YouTube as well. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't tell you beforehand that you have to register to live stream 24 hours in advance of the first time you do it. So we'll be set up to try that next time. But we did get live streaming working to Facebook. That seems to be working fine. In terms of more mundane secretary tasking, I'll pull up my written report real quick. We currently have 8 voting members and 1 provisional member. That's updated from my report, assuming that Ms. Wilson does qualify, which I have every reason to believe she will. We have 6 associate members, meaning people who had previously joined and had been active within the past year. And so that keeps our quorum still at 3 members. Obviously, we met that. I've continued the routine work that our Twitter and our Facebook have gone a slow growth, but they are growing, so that's good. I also did analysis on Facebook of where our followers are from, and over half of them are in fact local to Brevard County, with most of them being in the largest Brevard County municipalities. So for a local political party, that's a good sign. Still on my to-do list is updating the websites to show our candidates and our officers and committee chairs. And then I also want to work on a candidate support policy and start on charter amendment reviews. But those are lower priority since those don't have to be done right this second. So that is the secretary's report.
All right, sir, if you'd like to continue on with the treasurer's report, go right ahead.
All right, for the treasurer's report, our balance as of today is $5,391.85 assets, cash on hand. Since our last meeting, we have received $226.99 in contributions and spent $40.28 for a net income of $186.71. This also means for the year, we are net positive if you subtract out the invoices for Cocoa Beach office from last year. Now, we do have one remaining invoice from Cocoa Beach office that is not yet reflected in these numbers. Other than that, we did submit our third quarter report on time without issue. Our fourth quarter report won't be due till January 10th. Everything else is routine in terms of finances, and the only other specific update I had is I did contact the city of West Melbourne for the rally coming up this week to determine what we need to do in terms of that, and it comes out to be a $45 rental fee and a $50 deposit refundable. The deposit is a little bit strange because they want it done as a money order, with the to line of the money order being blank. I believe our bank can do that, and it'll be, I think, roughly a $2 fee for that. So I will try to get that knocked out tomorrow so that we're good to go. That concludes the treasurer's report.
Thank you, sir. Just a point of information here. Mr. Ty, I forgot to tell you, I never texted Ty or let him know about what came of the West Melbourne discussion. Turns out the $200 you approved wasn't even needed. They gave us the park for $45. So that's $155 back into the events budget for you there, sir.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I gave her a call and she was like, it's just a 1 hour like rally. I'm like, yeah, that's it. We're not taking up the whole space for the whole day. And she was like, oh, we'll just charge you $45. And I was like, awesome. Life is great.
Nice. That's spending that money wisely.
Yeah, right. So I was super stoked with that. And then she said something about money orders and I turned it over to the treasurer. So, all right. Any other questions for the treasurer or secretary reports? Anybody? With that, we'll move on. Oh, wait. Was that somebody?
No, I'm sorry.
With that, we'll move on. Region 9 rep. Do we have Dennis or John on the call? I don't think so. Did anybody sit in on that region
was
on the LPF?
I was at the LPF meeting because the only business conducted was a rules committee motion.
Oh, well, that sounds like an exciting meeting.
So yeah, now the Region 9 was unexpectedly not represented in that meeting. I don't know what happened there, but nobody from our region showed up. And this seemed to be a surprise to the chair, so I guess it was unexpected. But the meeting itself was to review and approve a motion from the rules committee to do spelling, grammar, and style cleanup on the LPF bylaws. So the most exciting meeting that they've ever done.
Yeah.
And so
It
that
was like a
passed.
2-hour meeting though, still, right?
Nah, it was done in like 35 minutes. And that's even with the fact that they had to go through some reports because people hadn't filed written reports.
Got it.
So it was
All right.
it was uneventful.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Moving on to committee reports. Ms. Marie Pio, do you have an outreach committee report?
Yeah. Hi, I'm here. I exist. Okay, yes, I do. This month, mainly it's been setting up emails, announcing the events. I had scheduled maybe 4 or 5 emails. I feel like there's another one that's still supposed to go in there through MailChimp to go up to announce events, and then to send out another reminder to announce that as a reminder for this meeting, and then there'll be another one going out next week. I'm working on the getting set up to send a text message hopefully tomorrow or Wednesday for the events. And part of that is I've got new voter data that came in, so I want to make sure that I get everything updated as far as phone numbers and everything to go in there. So that's what I've been working on right now. I think I might have done some updates and cleanup on the website. But the big thing is to do our big test for text messaging and see if we can get people to come out to the rallies. I'm trying to get, and I might have it in just a minute, the most recent voter totals. It was actually loading when for some reason the voter lists they sent are like very cumbersome, so it takes a really long time to load up. But that's the main thing I've been doing is making sure we get communications out. This does say the October disc said we had 1,974 LPF voters. That's my report.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Moving on, Mr. Ty, I know you said something about the West Melbourne event, but do you have anything else for events committee?
No, Brian and I are going to try and discuss trying to set up an event for this month. But hopefully we can get something in, because I got like something planned for this last weekend. I'll be out of town, and hopefully maybe if he's willing to kind of step in a little bit to host it or something, if we ended up doing it that one weekend, or we set something up for like the next first weekend in November or whatnot. But we're gonna discuss that. And I haven't talked to Ashley yet, and because I know she was talking about some Halloween thing she was trying to set up.
Yeah, I have some information about that. If you want, Ty, text me, okay?
Okay,
And I'll give you a call after this or text you
Oh,
back and forth,
okay.
okay?
all right. But yeah, that's all I have though.
All right, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Moving on to Gala Committee. Our gala is inactive at the moment. We still can, if anybody would like to become Gala Committee Chair and handle the gala, and let's create one, please say so, and we can make it happen. All right, and with that, we're gonna move on to public officials and candidates report. This is the section of the agenda where our officials who are elected can give us updates on what they're doing, or any candidates can give us updates if they so choose on their race for their office. If we have any public officials that have anything to speak about, now is the time. Brian, your hand is up. Go right ahead, sir.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so our meeting was this last Wednesday. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, will you please let those that don't know who you are,
Oh,
can you give them an intro, please?
yeah, Brian Fleming. I work at the Soil and Water Board Conservation District, Group 1. So everybody that's in basically District 1, almost, I think the lines are the same. I'm your representative on the Soil and Water Board, and we have really no legitimate power per se, but we can advise and guide local governments or the county on decisions as far as when they're talking about soil and water. To be honest, it's really more about big agriculture, agricultural industries here in Brevard, and letting them have access to some of the politicians and stuff like that. And when I say agriculture, that could be beef, that could be bees, that could be, the fruit trees. So it's sort of a wide variety of stuff. One of my things is that I'm trying to get it a little more focused, maybe a little more on just residents, people maybe having their own homesteads or growing stuff in their backyard and getting support from us, from the Soil and Water Board, like through IFAS, which is an extension office. So that's me. That's what I do, or I attempt to do at least. We had our meeting this last Wednesday. It was actually a pretty good and interesting meeting. The agenda, we do have a website if you want to go take a look at it. I can't remember the address. I can start posting it if you want me to. But one of the things we discussed was our website, because it's not ADA compliant, I guess. So the whole every single soil and water board, only a couple were ADA compliant. So they went and purchased a program on Streamline, which I guess is another internet-based company. So the thing is that we'll get the first year for free, and then after that year, it's $80 a month to maintain it. So if quick math, that's $960 a month for a website. So there's some soil and water boards that only have $2,000, that use $2,000. So $960 is over half their budget. So if you don't use them, then you have to go use something else. But they made some sort of deal where you get the first year free, but then after that, it's $80 a month. We were none too happy about that. Let's put it that way. So we're giving the everybody feedback on that. They needed a representative to go on the EEL, which is basically the endangered, I can't remember the acronym, but on the advisory board, I volunteered for that. I figure I want to learn something about it, so I'll be on the EEL as the only member from the Soil and Water Board. So I think they meet once a year, and they want someone from the Soil and Water Board. And I said, well, I've never done that. And everybody said, well, they've never asked us to be on the board. I'm like, okay, cool. This is gonna be interesting. So And then we had two people that had a meeting with the superintendent and chairman of the school board. There were other people there also that were talking to them, but it looks like that we got a preliminary, everybody's interested in the STEM for agriculture. I had a meeting with Ashley, and I brought up hydroponics and vertical farming and stuff like that. Thank you. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And they're talking about drones and looking at agriculture and fertilizer and how to better put down fertilizer. And they're looking at drones as one of the ways to do that. Also, eradication of weeds or invasive species. So it seems like that the superintendent and the chairman of the board were pretty interested in it. So we're going to keep talking to them about it. I brought up biochar. I had a class here at my house. Some other people attended it about biochar, but I brought up having 4 classes a year, and then the Soil and Water Board would pay for them at IFAST for anybody to attend. They're like, well, what's biochar? What does it do? Blah, blah, blah. And then of course there's one person, well, it's really negative, a little naysayer. But I'm like, hey, it's something that anybody can use, not just big ag. So I'm hoping that'll get approved. They approved the updated MOU that I talked about last week, which means we get the lease agreement that we have for one of the people here in the county. Also, a tidbit of information: counties and municipalities cannot tax ag land. So what was happening, I guess, was that for like stormwater and stuff, some municipalities and counties were taxing the ag land and saying, hey, you owe us a fee or a tax for stormwater runoff or whatever it is. Well, there was a law passed, 7063, chapter 23 through 157, I think it is. And it states in there that you can't, that per the state, local municipalities and counties cannot tax ag land beyond what the state is already taxing them. So I guess that was happening throughout Florida. So they brought that back up. And I'm supposed to get sent the actual whole document so I can read it. But there's a lot of things that agricultural land cannot be taxed for, which may be interesting to some people in here specifically.
I find that very interesting.
Isn't it though? I thought it was, I'm like, holy cow, that's awesome.
We should do an entire program where it's agricultural zone land cannot be taxed. If you would like to change your zoning, please reach out to LP Brevard today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can tell you how to attempt it.
Yeah, I know there's a couple people, and I'm not going to name names, that are trying to change it to ag. And I poked some questions. I didn't ask outright, but I'm like, my question was, well, what does it take, for you to change your zoning to agricultural? So I'm waiting to hear back on that because there's a lot of hemming and hawing, most of that's for big agriculture. And I'm like, well, I want to know for smaller people that maybe start, growing their own food and maybe possibly not sell it, but give it away. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What does it mean for them? So, I forgot our local Fed boy, the district conservationist update, Derek Wiley. He told us, he gave us good news that our district is getting an increase in money starting in 2024. It's going up to 60 million. And then 2025, it's going up to 80 million. And then 2026, it's going up to 90 million. So that's the amount of grants that they'll be able to give. And that came from I know, hold your hats. It came from the Inflation Reduction Act. So in order to cut inflation, they're handing out more money, is basically what he's saying.
Nobody said they were smart, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was really excited about it. Oh, it's such great news. I'm like, And it was sort of shocking because everybody else pretty much on the board was sort of like, yeah, they're giving more money to fight inflation. I didn't even say it. I was just watching everybody else, and that's the way it reacted. So I was a little happy when I heard that. That everybody, not that they're giving us money, but that everybody didn't like it. For me, as far as soil and water stuff, on October 25th, Manor House on Merritt Island, they're having a legislative luncheon that is highly encouraged for me to go to because the Farm Bureau will be there. So all the bigwigs, all the, rubbing elbows with all the powerful Farm Bureau people. And then on November 6th, I'm going to get more information, but there's like a National Women's Farmer meeting up here in the Titusville Library. So, and then if you do get your anybody gets their land changed and they want to agriculture and they want to get federal money, just let me know and I'll get them in touch with the right person, and they'll help you fill out the grants and stuff like that.
I do have a question about that. There are multiple types of agricultural zoning. Is that for any agricultural? Like, would that agricultural residential, would that still apply?
They blanket statement with just agricultural. So in the meetings, they don't talk about if it breaks down into agricultural, residential, or anything like that. But I can ask that question.
So that you said that's already something that was passed?
Yes, that was in the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed, beginning of this year, late last year. So money's already been allocated. So even if the government shuts down, it's still money that's, already been allocated and spent.
And that was the part where they said that they can't tax you on that land above what the state is already taxing you. Or
No, that's a
separate
state law. That's a
Okay.
state law. It's a state law that says that municipalities and counties can't above and beyond tax agricultural land.
Do you remember what, I think you said what statute or the name of that was? If not, if you could send it to me later, because I'm curious to read the wording on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. It's House Bill 7063. Chapter 23 through 157. I'll put it in the I haven't looked it up
Okay,
yet,
thank you.
so I may be a little
Okay.
off, but if I am, I can find out the exact one, but I'll put it in the chat too.
Okay.
And I don't know the answer to the agricultural thing. I'm still learning all the nuances of agricultural, because most of the stuff they're talking about, during this meeting is of course big agriculture. So you're talking about the big three cattle producers and the big three orange and fruit and so on and so forth. One of the guys, Chris, he's our treasurer, and he is the president of the Cattlemen's Association. So I was asking him questions about different stuff and everything. I was asking him questions about grass-fed versus grass-finished beef and stuff like that. So, but one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hold of Mike up in Volusia, because that Soil and Water Board was supposed to have hemp for water. No, not hemp for water. They were supposed to have the fluoride discussion last month or this month. So I wanted to see how that went, because I sort of want to broach that subject here and see what they say.
Just as if you still got more, go ahead and finish, but I wanted to give an update that Nathan and Adriana, they completely lost internet at the house. So Ty, if you're willing to step in as vice chair, in case they can't make it back on.
Sure, no problem.
Oh, wait, I think Adriana just showed back up, so maybe we'll get Nathan too.
Saved by the bell.
But either way, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off in case you were back
line.
Yeah, I don't have really anything else. I'll research the agricultural stuff because I got to call the property appraisers. I want to get a list of all the agricultural, agricultural people here in District 1. So I can reach out to them and see what they're doing and if they need anything from me, start meeting people.
Yeah, that'd be real interesting to find out how carefully they worded that, if that applies to all the,
Lost you, Marie. Can anybody hear Marie or no?
No, I can't hear. Can you hear me?
Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. I think we were hacked in some kind of attack, so our entire house went down.
Oh, no.
So I apologize. I am trying to get set back up, and we've got feedback now.
Yeah.
You're too close to each other.
Yeah, I'm noticing, and I lost my video. I don't know how to start video. Ah, there we go. I'm moving.
Show in another room.
do I have audio again?
Hey, Maria's back. We are having all
Okay.
sorts of technical issues tonight.
Okay, yeah, Brian, I was just saying that I'd be interested to see if the actual wording, if they were careful enough to only it apply to the largest agricultural or to anybody with that word in their zoning.
When you say, are you talking about the taxes or are you talking about the federal grants? Or both?
I was originally thinking of the taxes where you said that if you were zoned agricultural, that the county couldn't
Yeah.
apply anything that wasn't additional or.
Can you
on-
give us a quick run back on the federal grants? I was curious about that before I lost my internet.
As far as, yeah, I mean,
The farm bill, did it all get passed?
the farm bill has not been passed. There is no farm
Okay.
bill yet. That the stuff, the 40, 60 or 60, 80 and 90 million, that was in the Inflation Reduction Act. So it was basically the Inflation Reduction Act was an omnibus bill. And they just
Mhm.
threw a bunch of shit at it and signed it and spent all this money to bring down inflation. So those numbers were just the updated amounts that Brevard County or his district, which includes, I think, Orange, Osceola, and Volusia, I think. But that's how much he's going to get this, he's going to have to spend. And my question to him was, okay, what happens if we don't spend it? And he goes, well, they'll give it to someone else. Because, his moniker is, okay, I have this much, now I have to spend that much. And that's the way the federal government works. And I'm sure Greg can back me up on this.
You
It's
have to
not
spend every dollar or else you get congratulated for your efficiency and get less next year.
exactly. So, they don't understand. Well, I'm sure they do. They just don't care. But, 1 year you can need a lot and next year you can need a little, and maybe 2 years in a row you need a lot and the year after that you don't. That's not how they work. You get punished if you don't spend all your money, especially in the military. It's really bad. I'm sure Ty could even account for that too. And that's the way the federal government works. If you don't know that, if they don't spend the money spend at least the amount, if not more. Some people, if you don't request more money, you get punished. If you just spend, let's say they give you 5 million, you spend that 5 million. If you don't request more money, even though you may not need it, then you can get, that can be you can look bad as far as that's concerned too. So, but my question,
So how do we beat that?
well, unfortunately, it's a top-down problem. It's not a, when I say people person, it's not a voting problem. It's hard to vote that out, but when, I think for some people that are sort of trying to do one bill measures, that should help. Because that'll force people to be held accountable, because with these omnibus bills, what they'll do is if you vote against it, you don't like veterans in the military or some BS, what I'm saying? They'll play those games. And it's like, no, I want to pay them, but I don't want to give, 30,000 billion to Ukraine or 30,000 billion to the science where they're, testing cocaine out on rats or whatever the hell they're doing, the sex lives of chinchillas. So
Oddly, not the least efficient thing they're doing either.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I think the
so-
other thing that I've seen a number of candidates propose over the years, which may help too, is to go to zero baseline budgeting, which is to zero out each department at the start of the year, rather than looking at what they spent in the previous year,
yeah.
and then make them justify anything they ask for above zero.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem, of course, is that the people that would do that would either be Congress or the executive agencies, both of which would not benefit from doing so.
Yeah. So again, that's one of the sort of the things I'm trying to work in as the soil and water, because the federal guy is there every time. Derek, he's a nice guy and he just wants to help people. And there's a lot of people that are in those institutions and all they want to do is help, because they know it's expensive to run a cattle ranch and to do all this stuff. But the counterbalance to that is they're spending money needlessly on shit that they just they may not need. So yeah. Yeah, and I'll take any other questions, and I know Marie, I'll try and get answers for you on those other things, okay?
Okay, no worries. I appreciate it. No worries.
All right. Is there any other questions for Brian tonight?
Sorry it took so long.
Don't be. We had technical problems. You entertained everybody while I was struggling to get my internet back.
Ty did a bang up job. He said like 5 words, so everything was covered.
All right. If everybody's okay, I'm going to go ahead and move forward then. Moving on to old business, we have no old business. Moving on to new business, election of director at large to fill the vacancy for the remainder of the next 2 months. Do we have anyone who would like to run for director at large for the remaining 2 months of the year? Going once, going twice. All right, we are going to move forward. Nobody today. Accepting motion submissions from members until Saturday, October 4th. Okay, I don't think that's supposed to be on the agenda. Is that a mistake? Or is there something I'm missing?
Oh,
here?
I just put in the draft agenda, I put the cutoff date for motion submissions, and I never updated this one.
Oh, no worries. Okay. That's a nothing then. Moving on to public comment. Public comment is this point for anyone to talk about anything not on the agenda that they want to discuss. Do we have anything with anybody with any issues they want to talk about for the last month or coming up? Brian, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Well, I was hoping if I raised my hand, I could remember, but there was something I wanted to talk about. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I mean, gosh.
We are
darn it.
live streaming.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, pooper. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm out.
All right. Anyone else have any public comments they want to talk about? All right.
I
Oh, yes, Marie.
have a question. So without going into any reasoning, I don't, it doesn't sound right now like Ashley is going to be able to work on the Thanksgiving thing. Is that something that we still want to work towards, or I'm not volunteering to take it
Yes.
over.
So,
But I'm
that
asking if we have a contingency on that, or if we're just kind of letting it be.
My
on
understanding
hold.
was that event was completely predicated on her.
Okay, that's just
So if
what I
she
wanted
is
to-
indisposed, then I would anticipate that event not happening.
Okay, that's just what I wanted to clarify and make sure in case there was anything we needed to do. Okay, that was,
Because I do believe she was organizing all the legs of that event and we were only one leg.
and I think she had all the contacts
Yes.
for the area. She has the actual local contacts for where she was
Yeah.
doing it and everything, so. Okay.
And she knew how to get in touch with all the people she wanted to feed, and we don't have her knowledge, unfortunately.
Okay,
Is she okay? I haven't heard anything about her. Oh.
Yeah, I'll catch up with you later, Brian.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know, I'm not trying to get personal, I was just,
No, I know.
We're live and healthy. So that is great. That is good news, and we can all pray for her.
Yeah, I think your microphone internet was cutting out, Nathan, by the way. No, I can't hear you. Try disconnecting and connecting again. Not sure. Oh, I heard you for a moment. No.
Yes.
Can
You're
you guys
good.
hear me now?
yes.
Stepped on me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just switching computers. Screw it. I don't know what happened to my computer. What I was saying was she's alive and healthy, so everybody pray for her. But that's about it. We are going to move forward with what else is on the agenda? I don't mind on my computer. I think it's just the announcements for the rallies. Okay, well, on Friday, we have the rally in West Melbourne. It's at the West Melbourne Community Park, which is right next to Field of Dreams on Minton. Did you mute me?
No, I muted the
Oh, okay.
speaker.
Okay, it's right next to Field of Dreams on Minton. There is a big, what do you call them? Not, is it auditorium? No, amphitheater. There's an amphitheater there that we can set up. And we're gonna meet up for Mike and for Grover to give speeches to anyone available. There we go, yeah. And then it'll last from, I believe, 6 p.m. until we're done. I figure within an hour. And then on Sunday at noon, Chase Oliver for president will be in Titusville with me at the Veterans Memorial Park in Titusville. We'll be there for about an hour for Chase to give us a speech on what he's got going on, and I'll reach out about Brevard County. And then our next business meeting is Monday, November 20th, and that one is also going to be on Zoom, and I'm praying that we have better technical issues, less issues than we had tonight. So with that said, do we have anything else before we adjourn? I'm trying to see the people here. Does anyone have, just gallery? There you go. Does
I
anybody
can't
have
figure out how to
anything-
raise my hand, Mr. Chair. Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I had to switch computers. I couldn't find the things.
So two things. First off, thank you for everyone's patience with the technical issues on my end, since this is the first time that I've run a pure virtual meeting like this. Every time before I've been an attendee of someone else doing it. So if you have any suggestions for improving the format or the way we run it, make sure to let me know afterwards. Second, putting on my other hat as treasurer, I want to say a big thank you to our recurring donors who have pledged for each month. That's what helps keep us running, moving forward, even without the big events. If you're not currently a monthly recurring donor, either contact me and I can arrange to have that, have your monthly pledge put on our bank credit card account, or you can sign up to our PayPal if you prefer to do it through PayPal. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Ty. You had your hand raised? No, he's good.
I was
Ms.
just showing
Donna,
him how to raise his hand.
Oh, you guys do that a lot, don't you? All right, Ms. Donna, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Thanks. I was looking at the online form to join, and it says that I can either download it or do an electronic submission, but it looks like it's just a Word doc. And so I don't think I can submit it electronically. So should I email it to somebody?
There's on that page, there's not a form underneath the buttons. Let me bring it up. There was a like where it says the buttons, it says attend a meeting, download a membership form, register to vote.
Uh-huh.
Underneath that, there should be a form. I think it says subscribe in error, but it should not be say subscribe. That is the membership form.
So if I subscribe, because that doesn't have a place for, like, I looked at the form that you download and it asks for so much more information, like my voter registration and do I live in Brevard? And that's not on the subscribe. I
All
don't-
right,
I guess
good point. I see what you're saying. I think we've updated this a couple times, so I think it did not get that last piece on it.
All right, so from what I'm hearing, Miss Donna, I believe if you just fill out what's on line under the word subscribe, it gives us what we need. And Marie, I believe if you will fix that subscribe word and get rid of that, that will fix
Well,
that.
what she's saying is that does not have the the place for the voter registration. So that form could be emailed to us.
I'd say please email that form to secretary@lpbrevard.org and then I can process it.
And I'll fix the form online.
Okay, you said secretary at LP.
Secretary@lpbrevard.org.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys all for stepping up and handling that. Anybody else got anything for tonight? All right, with that, please put both your rallies on the calendar. I know I'm going to both. I cannot wait to see both of these guys speak and hear what they have to say. I hope you guys have a great night and we'll keep in touch. Talk to you later.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.